One last time. They will now pitch with their business startups on the main stage, but they'll be met with a new, unforgiving panel of judges. Who will prove that they have what it takes? Who will seize the grand prize and become the first ever TYRO? In the last episode, the final 5 were announced.
Valerie Ha, Winfred Quek, Jackson Hua, Derek Hua, Augustus Lloyd. You will be fighting it out in the final.
Now, with the finals upon them, each TYRO will have to work with their startups to come up with the pitch of a lifetime. But for Valerie, a moment of jubilation soon turned into heartbreak.
So my startup decided it would not be best for them to go to the finals. I tried to convince them, but ultimately I had to respect the rights of the founders to make their decision. And I think I'm okay with it because I know I did my best, and given that this is the decision they made, I just have to accept it and move forward from there. Yeah, I think it's okay for Ben to replace me because ultimately I knew I did my best in trying to get my startup to stay, and I think Benjamin has also worked really hard for this, so I'm also glad that he's in the competition and I hope he's able to win.
It came as a surprise, but I think I'm rather privileged to be able to come back on the show again.
I would think, for today, everybody would be equally dangerous. There's probably no one better than the other. Everyone's on their best today. It's game day, so I think everybody is a force to be reckoned with. So I am equally careful with everyone.
I'm excited and cautious.
Okay, I would say that I'm definitely confident in their startup because I chose them in the first place. So I've did a few run-through with them. So I believe that if they really perform well later, they show that what they have done over the past few months, they stand a high chance of winning.
I'm pretty confident. I mean, it took a bit of effort to get them to go with me. So I'm pretty confident in them. I really believe in the business.
With the final stage set, the room soon becomes packed with the TYRO's families and representatives of their chosen startups. Each will now pitch to a combined panel of venture capitalists. They will have exactly 5 minutes to wow our panel. Our judges will then critique their delivery, content, as well as the viability of each startup in the marketplace. It soon becomes clear that 5 simple minutes could change their life.
I think definitely a bit nervous, a few more minutes to go. But I think I'm very well prepared. I'm just going to go in there and blaze the trail. I think we've prepared long and hard for this, so I'm just going to go in and do my job and just wow the crowd. I've worked closely with Vinny, Jeff and Justin and the rest of the team at Golden Gate Ventures. But today isn't really about me, it's about my friend here, Chen Wei. In about 45 seconds, he's going to blow you away with his startup SG Fixit. But before he does that, let me share some stuff with you. Chen Wei is a lawyer, and I'm sure everybody has differing views about what lawyers are. But I do know one thing. What happens when you get pulled over by the cop? You call your lawyer. What happens if your spouse leaves you? You call your lawyer. What happens if you get caught drinking after 10:30 at Clarke Quay? You call your lawyer. And that's what lawyers do. They solve problems. And that's what Chen Wei has done with SG Fixit. Chen Wei has solved the problem that all of us will face inevitably at home at some point in time. So I don't want to spoil it for you. I'm going to let the man himself share with you more. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mr. Po Chen Wei of SG Fixit.
Thank you, Winfred. My name is Chen Wei. I'm the founder of SG Fixit. And with me on the screen are the wonderful people at Ace Body Corp and Mr. Victor Yu, whom are my partners and my trusted advisors with decades worth of experience in the home service industry. Together, we have built SG Fixit, which is an online marketplace for home service providers in Singapore.
I think you have to go into any competition with a certain bit of confidence, because that's what drives you. That's what gives you that adrenaline rush. So I think I am confident of doing my best, but I think about the winning part, it's not in my hands. So my duty is to do my best to pitch, and I think I prepared him very well, as best I can. So I think as far as I'm concerned, I've done my best.
Ask you another question though. You say you're a first mover. I think that's actually factually wrong. You're probably 1 or 3 or 4 doing the same thing. How do you actually build any sustainable barrier to entry through your product? Because you're already in a pretty crowded market.
Yes, you are right that there are existing players on board, but their model is somewhat different. I suppose what you have in mind is ClueJ.
For example.
Yeah, and right now their model is a bit not here, not there. They require the customers to put a request forward, then they'll source out 3 reviews, send it back. But for HG Fixit, we see 2 main sectors of homeowners, the ones that are just OCD, wants to control everything from calling down the contractors, all that, and to eventually seeing the job done. On the other hand, we have the completely lazy homeowners that just want something done.
But what's the barrier to entry though? You didn't answer that, right?
Well, the barrier to entry will be actually our links with all these service providers. Right now, my 2 partners, they are already quite established in this industry. They have a lot of goodwill with the service providers on ground. So this will really be a barrier to entry.
Honestly, I don't know if more time would help. It's a very short presentation, and the more time you have, the more you want to make it too fancy. And the thing is that if you've got 6 minutes, it's pretty pared down. So given the amount of time, I think about 1 week and a half, 6 minutes is okay for us.
Today I'd like to give you 3 good reasons why Style Tribute is not only the most stylish startup in the room right now, but also potentially the most profitable. Reason number 1, Stephanie has done an incredible job of assembling a dream team with over 40 combined years of relevant industry experience in luxury, e-commerce, and marketplace. Reason number 2, Style Tribute now adds $130,000 worth of inventory every month, and they can sell. Number 3, 7 out of 10 items that a woman will buy and add to her wardrobe, she will use a total of once. That's almost $300 billion worth of value locked in a woman's closet in Asia Pacific alone. And Style Tribute is poised to take advantage of that. So those are 3 good reasons why I think you should invest in Style Tribute, and other investors already agree. But it's not too late. I'm going to let Stephanie tell you about Style Tribute.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm here in front of you today because every morning in millions of households, women open their overflowing wardrobe and moan, "I have nothing to wear." The truth is, women only wear 30% of their wardrobe. And it has been estimated in the US alone that $880 billion of clothes were trapped in closets.
As a VC or a potential VC and an investor who works with a startup, you need to pick a star. And you need to pick someone who can run the race herself. And when you're in that position where she knows her business and is able to present it to the investors, you stand out of the way and you let the racehorse do what it needs to do. And I think that's what it shows what my strategy was, which was to let the startup sell itself.
Asian women are not that so-called easy to get on board to start selling their own clothes.
Yeah.
So how do you go about doing it? How do you onboard them?
Yes. So, well, first of all, I mean, just to rectify, there is a fragmented market of brick and mortar stores that do sell secondhand. We're going to be in the digital space. The second thing is that I think the issue is that of reframing the value correctly. We have been very successful in building a strong branding, strong experience, shopping experience, and we're building and investing a lot of time in the content, basically. So positioning ourselves as a very stylish, luxury kind of marketplace where fashionistas or fashion lovers want to shop.
Can I ask you one thing though? If you can afford a very expensive dress, wouldn't it be kind of losing a bit face to start selling your dresses online? So this segment of the market that can afford, the highest amount of luxury clothing, probably be the one that least would like to go out and sell it again.
Okay. The experience that we've had so far shows the opposite. We started tackling the top of the market. So the thing is that we didn't have any marketing budget. So to go and really tap into the bulk of the market was going to be too expensive. So we really started with VIP kind of sellers, which are the rich women in Singapore. And what we've seen is that not only are they very attractive for our business because they have loads of items coming in with 20 pieces and coming back to us every 6 months with more items. And this is something that we want to leverage on, actually using them as influencers and ambassadors. A bit like the Tupperware model, where basically we give them purpose. So it can be through charity, it can be through entrepreneurship, and giving them a kind of incentive in this business.
So my question is, have you and your team put in place scale, ability to scale that up.
Yes.
Because it sounds like you're going to require a lot of manpower, a lot of trucks, a lot of logistics and infrastructure.
Yeah.
And profitability could be a concern.
Yeah. So I think that where the most difficult scalability is at, because transport, etc., can be outsourced, right? It's the authentication process.
Right.
And that authentication process is actually part of the core competence, and that's where we see that we can put barriers to any entrance. Each brand has a series of checklists and of items that we're doing. So, for example, the Balenciaga, it's going to be the mirror. For another brand, it's going to be the hardware, etc. So we're going to have a process like, you could almost say, guidelines that are very simple to check. So once those checks have been done, either they go and they are shipped, or either they go to the next cascading authentication. And this will be less than 10% of our bags and products, which fall into a category that I call less popular models. So more difficult models to identify if they're counterfeit or real. And those will be checked by more senior authentificators. Sorry. Yeah.
50-50 prepared, because as a competition, you won't know what will happen, but I've tried my best to prepare my startup in terms of pitching, what things to look out for. So I think right now it's ultimately on the later on stage itself. Yeah.
Over 500 gigabytes of digital information is being transferred per day. And in the future of smart home and smart cities, we are talking about terabytes. And today I'm introducing LongCube, the protector and manager for digital assets. Imagine a world where everything is connected to a single computer. It helps to organize your life from one single control point. How do you manage that massive amount of information? There's currently no efficient way to manage it. And based on a recent research study done by HP, 70% of Internet of Things devices are vulnerable to security risks. A higher 90% reveal information of the device itself, or the cloud, or the mobile application it was running. Imagine what a savvy hacker could do if you knew your daily schedule or movement at home. In fact, I have a recent article over here that shows a hacker that hacked into a civilian camera and talked to the child at home. Your child's safety is worth billions of dollars, and therefore in the next few minutes, they will introduce what is LongCube solution about.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are LongCube. We are creating an open platform for all the smart home applications. In this platform, it is integrated with military-level security for protection of data and easy connections.
We pitch it in the way that we are selling the vision of the big picture. So I think we have to articulate more clearly in terms of how we lead from one step to the other.
Yeah. I don't still understand the product at all. Sorry. Sorry. So I need to buy your hardware as a new router in my home, and then you build a kind of private cloud on my hard drive inside a router that I buy, and then replace the existing router? Is that what you do? I mean, can you be very specific? I mean, you know, we can handle a bit specifics here, because this is very up in the air for me. I don't understand what this is.
Without judges taking a no-holds-barred approach to the final round, clarity is everything. Mediocrity will not make the cut.
But you're very misleading. I don't agree with that.
And no one is safe. In part 2 of the final episode, the last few teams will step up to the plate and deliver their pitches.
Who will be the Tyro? The results.
Join us for the electrifying final episode. Who will win it all and become the Tyro?